going on, you guys? It's your boy Alex West Collects here, bringing you the most in-depth action figure reviews here on YouTube. And today I have another vintage unboxing for you guys. We have WWE Mattel Elite 37 and Elite 50 Stephanie McMahon. I feel like I've been going down a rabbit hole and taking a look at figures that either I had in my collection, maybe got rid of, or, you know, just some holes that I've never grabbed these certain characters or figures of. I'll be honest, I had both of these Stephanie McMahons at one point, and I didn't think they were the best figures. I grabbed them and I was like, you know what? Mattel's going to pump out some better versions of Stephanie, more iconic ones than these kind of modern day ones. So I got rid of them, and lo and behold, Stephanie McMahon is no longer with the company. She's been gone for quite some time, and who knows if we're ever going to see any more Stephanie McMahon figures again, especially with this whole McMahon scandal. It's just unbelievable. But, you know, I got these at a decent price. I figured, let me add them to my collection. And you know what? If we do get more Stephanies, I'll be happy to pair these with them as well. But you will see the size of these boxes, right? The earlier Elites were so much bigger in size. I feel like over time they continue to shrink. But even from Elite 37 to Elite 50, you can see just the design of the box. A lot wider with the original ones and a little skinnier here. You can see that kind of side slant here. Even the color, I always liked the blue on these Elites. I feel like it really did pop and make these really stand out on shelves. The red wasn't bad. I don't know. I was never really a fan of this style packaging, to be totally honest with you guys. But you'll see the difference here. You get the image of Stephanie McMahon with the blue and the nameplate up here. The nameplate will be down here with the Elite Series 50. You can see she does come with those, I guess those display diorama pieces. I hated those. I always thought that was a waste of money. I miss when the action figures used to come with the round display bases. That is something I hope maybe Mattel can bring back. I know we have the ringside stands, but I guess that's probably a reason for them not to do it. But anyways, packaging does look great. Taking a look at the side, you get the different images of Stephanie McMahon here. Flipping all the way over, you will see the images of Stephanie again. On the back, you can see the read-up for each Stephanie McMahon figure. Again, I believe this is based on WrestleMania 32, when she came out with Triple H, when he took on Roman Reigns. You will see the other figures in Elite Series 50. Shane McMahon, John Cena, Baron Corbin with hair, Rhino, and Warlord. That is crazy to think. For Elite 37, you have The Miz, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins. This was one of my favorites. I remember this came out. I was just so hyped. John Cena, and Dean Malenko, the only figure we actually got from Dean Malenko. But let's come back. We're going to crack Stephanie out of the packaging and see what these figures are all about. Here is the Elite 37 Stephanie McMahon out of the packaging. And again, this is a very early Elite figure. Think about it, we're up to Elite, 108's coming out soon. No interchangeable hands here. You can see she does have the pin joints. The only accessories she does come with are these two signs. So if you guys want to put them in your crowd display for your arenas or whatever, it's Steph for business. You can see it's the same on the back, just cardboard, nothing crazy about it. And then you got Steph, just like the knock at Daniel Bryan here in the same kind of colors he had at this time. I believe, who did she fight here? Was it Brie Bella? I don't really remember when she wore this attire. I think that was the feud they were going with, because obviously she was not a big advocate of Daniel Bryan, but it's just so long ago, I don't really remember. But let's get a close-up. You take a look at this head sculpt. It doesn't look bad. I mean, it's got an okay likeness to Stephanie. I feel like a lot of these figures came with like missing eyebrow paint. The one I actually had a big glue mark, and I feel like I tried to get it off and left a big stain, and that's why I actually got rid of this figure. And I feel like I found a few more in stores, and all the paint applications at the time were just garbage. So I just never got her. I just never added her back to my collection. But I'm happy to have her here, and I made sure when I purchased that the paint applications on her face were really good. So not the best. It does look a little cartoony-esque. I could only imagine how much better this head sculpt would look now with Mattel's new TrueFX technology. But you can see her attire. She does have a little bit of that silver kind of buckles and all these nice kind of straps here. Obviously, a later in-ring match for Stephanie McMahon. Taking a look at the rest of the attire going down her legs. It looks pretty nice. Same on the back design as well. You can see the different zippers. The big hair, she does look really good. Again, single jointed arms or elbows here. There is a bicep hinge if you guys want a little bit of articulation. No interchangeable hands, but the hands do rotate and hinge. She does have that diaphragm joint. There is waist swivel. The head gets a decent amount of movement. The hair will get a little bit in the way. She is on ball joints. If you guys are curious, she does kick up about that much. You do have the double jointed knees here, or maybe are they single jointed? I believe these are single jointed. That's a little unfortunate. I didn't know that, but honestly, I don't know how much articulation you're looking to get out of Stephanie McMahon. You can see on the back, there is a little bit of a logo here. We get this camera to focus for you guys. But all in all, this figure looks pretty good. It's everything you'd expect for an Elite Stephanie McMahon. Here is the Elite 50 Stephanie McMahon out of the packaging. So she comes with a little more accessories than the Elite 37. You get, again, this cardboard backing to kind of complete that diorama. I never liked these. I thought they were kind of dumb. You get a display stand to go with it, as well as this base where this cardboard display would pour it in, and then you kind of snap these in here. You guys can see those holes, and that would be your display. I'm not putting that together. It just takes up way too much real estate. And what do you get, a gym set or like, I don't know, the Performance Center? I don't know, that's kind of lame. I never thought it was worth it. So I also did have this figure in my collection, and another one I got rid of. Why? I remember putting this jacket on her, and I could not get her arms to go all the way back, and I remember snapping her neck peg, or splitting it. Don't ask me how that happened. I was trying to get her arms in, and this just snapped, and I was like, you know what? Nope, you're gone. You're from the collection. I feel like the head was a little big. You could even see it here. It does kind of float a little, right? So that's the reason I don't have the jacket on her quite yet. I'm going to try to do it and not break this figure. But you'll see it's that rubber jacket. I don't even know if I want to display with this. It reminds me of that stupid like penguin suit that Sheamus and Cesaro came with. You're not going to be able to move her arms. She's just going to kind of be sitting there. But it's got okay detailing. It is a very, old school design here. Very hard rubber. Remember this being such a pain in the ass to get on. So, you know what? Maybe I'll skip it. I don't know. I don't even really like it, to be totally honest with you guys. Did you get this mask here? I don't know. Did she wear this mask, or was she just holding? I don't really remember. Like, it's just, my mind is fried, guys. I have a kid, and I feel like after that, you lose brain cells. There's just so much to worry about between that and the rest of life. But the figure looks okay. I do like the head sculpt. I feel like I said earlier, it really does capture that smug look of Stephanie McMahon here. It is a little bit on the bigger side. See, I don't know. You can even see around her neck here. It looks like there's like paint chipping, or there's a mark here, like a big kind of like marbling or something. That's another reason, like, I was not the biggest fan of this figure. But again, we're not getting any more Stephs, at least for the foreseeable future, right? So I added her to my collection, and it doesn't look bad. She will pair nicely with Triple H. You can see most of her attire is just plain black. She does have just the single jointed elbows here, of course, but they are actually pinless. That is kind of interesting. Like, Mattel kind of toyed around with this earlier on the Mattel line, but it never really picked up steam. They kind of just stuck with the actual pinned arms for the most part. But you'll see her legs and these tall boots she is wearing. Does have some silver detailing on there. Take a look at the back. And again, look at the big hair. Similar to the Elite 37, as well as this little kind of ties on her hair up top. So not the worst, but also definitely not the best Stephanie out there made by Mattel for sure. Another thing I want to point out, so the mask actually does have like a little bit of a handle, so you can see she can hold the mask in her hand, and you kind of have her displayed on your shelf with this awesome looking Triple H skull mask. Alright, so I was able to get that on. That was such a pain in the ass, and I totally forgot how much harder it was to get these rubber or plastic jackets on these figures when you cannot pop out their hands. So obviously, she has the hands that are not interchangeable. I believe I almost ripped this pinky off. It is a little flimsy. I don't know if you guys can see it here. Squeezing and pulling this jacket through, but it does look a lot better with her on it. I feel like that's probably the reason why her head kind of does that floating look, to kind of have her hair, kind of sitting over this jacket, but looks pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. And I feel like the only issue is now, if you guys want to put the mask in her hand, like, it's gonna have to stay kind of down at her waist, and she's not going to be able to articulate her arm because she does have this rubber coat, which is going to hinder that. But if you want to have Stephanie pose like this, it does look pretty good. The jacket, again, has some okay detailing to it, so I don't think I'm going to attempt to remove it. I'm probably going to keep it displayed as is. And a few comparisons starting us off here. We do have the Triple H to pair with the Stephanie McMahon from his WrestleMania entrance. Probably going to be how I display them next to each other on my figure display shelf. These look really nice. And honestly, that is the main reason I got this Triple H. I actually purchased Stephanie first. I said, you know what? It'd be kind of nice to have Triple H to go with her as well. Here are all of my Mattel Stephanie McMahon figures. So on the left, we have the Elite Milk-O-Mania Stephanie McMahon. Remember, she did come with an interchangeable head. I believe that might have been the first Mattel, or one of the very first Mattel figures that actually, came with that interchangeable head feature, because we did not see that often at the time. Of course, we do have the Elite 50, the Elite 37 here. Next to that is the Elite 94 Steph, one of the more recent ones from the Stephanie McMahon Helmsley era. One of my favorites, probably my favorite in my collection. On the very right, this I believe was the first Stephanie McMahon figure, the basic. I want to say it was Series 40. This is one of the few basics I actually pre-ordered from Ringside back in the day. I was so hyped to have Stephanie in my collection. Again, they were doing that whole corporation kind of gimmick or whatever the hell they were called. I don't even remember what's best for business. If I had to rank the Stephs in order, I think my least favorite out of these, man, this is tough because I feel like a lot of them are on the same level. I think my least favorite might be the new one I just picked up here, the Elite 50. I think Elite 37 would probably be next, and that's probably the reason I didn't have in my collection, because I feel like these were a little bit better. I think the third one, I'm going to go with the basic Steph, and they released this one a few times. She did come in a battle pack with a red shirt with, I believe, Mick Foley, and there was her in a white shirt, same kind of suited corporate outfit that she could come with a basic Triple H in a battle pack. So those are the only other options to get for Steph, but I feel like the head sculpt was ahead of its time. It really does look great with the earrings. Number 2, I think I'm going to go with the Milkomania. I wish I would have picked up another one to have her displayed with the kind of wet hair after she got drenched. And of course, the Elite 94 to me was my favorite Steph. I was so nostalgic to this era. I love Triple H and Stephanie McMahon during their run. If you guys have enjoyed this video review, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of these figures, if you have them in your collection, and if you guys have been going back and purging and grabbing some other older figures that you've missed out on. I personally have really enjoyed doing these vintage unboxings. I know that's what I've been calling them. Some people are like, how are they vintage? It's 4 or 5 years ago. They are a lot different than what Mattel figures we are getting now. I feel like Mattel has stepped up their game. If you look at the figures that we get now in the Elite Waves, they just feel more superior. I mean, look at these figures. Let's be honest. They didn't come with a lot of accessories. At the bare minimum, you get some interchangeable hands with some Elites, maybe a cloth shirt or something. Like, we got some cardboard cutouts and a rubber jacket between the two figures. So it's nice to go back and take a look at these figures from a different lens, like how much better these figures are and the technology is today, but it's also nice to see the foundation that what Mattel was built on. As far as these two go, they're not my favorite stuffs, as you guys, I mean, I did rank the rest of the ones in my collection. The 3 I have, I feel like are a little better. They capture likeness. Like the Elite 37, I like the attire. The gear really does pop. So many different sculpted detailing to it. I will say the head sculpt is where it's kind of missed a little. She looks a little cartoony. Doesn't capture the likeness best. I feel like the Elite 50 captures her a lot better. But I don't know, that kind of head really is floating on there. I'm not crazy about the painted kind of chest. I feel like you can see that little mark on her neck, but it is nicely covered up with a jacket. And that's another thing. These rubber jackets, a thing of the past, and you know what? It's crazy. We're still kind of getting them within some figures. They've tried some innovations like the ones with the removable sleeves. It just doesn't do it. I'm not crazy about the jacket, but she does look nicely displayed with it. So I will say that there. I look for more vintage unboxings coming. I do have some Shield figures that I'm really looking forward to doing. And like I said, take another look at them from a different lens and perspective. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video review. Let me know, again, if you want to see more vintage unboxings. I constantly buy figures, and I debate whether doing videos on them. Like, I don't know if people are really going to want to watch it, but if you guys are enjoying them, I'll keep pumping them out. Like I said, it's nice to have a discussion on some older figures and see how far we've come with the Mattel line. But thank you all for your continued support. I appreciate you guys checking out this video review. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at AlexWestCollects. When you shop at Ringside Collectibles, use code 4LIFE to save 10% off your order. I will catch you all on the next video.